Hi, Saggy. This is your January 2020 astrology reading for all Sagittarius signs, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. I do apologize. I'm coming out with this a little bit late, but you know, it's been the holidays and I've been trying to catch up. With that being said, you are really going to be kind of scattered. And for Sagittarius, that's kind of who you are anyway. But I mean, your communication is going to be a little bit scattered. You're a little bit going through a shape shifting of pursuit of pleasure, of pursuit of inner emotional security, of finding liberation, self-worth, self-value, self-esteem. I am being told to tell you to watch your gossip. And I think that's watch your gossip and when it interferes with your true personal interests. Some of you may be traveling over the month. This is definitely coming into overcoming some of your own self-undoing by coming into self-realization and taking responsibility for it. We are talking about heart chakra, throat chakra, and third eye. Wisdom, imagination, vision, communication. And I do feel chucked up. I feel very choppy in my communication. I feel very choked in my communication. Like what I'm trying to say just isn't coming out. Like, I want to express myself, but I'm having this word vomit. And I don't necessarily mean word vomit in, like, a negative way. I just mean, like, what you're trying to express, the details and the words that you mean to say are not coming out the way you want them to. And this has to do with that scattered, shape-shifting energy of healing grief, sorrow, shame versus investments of your own inner emotional security, liberation, self-worth, self-value, self-esteem. And where you've in the past talked shit to yourself. Like, talk shit to yourself, putting yourself down. But you're definitely seeing situations that the outer world are showing you within the relationships. I'm also getting for some of you, this is going to have a lot to do with sex or the sacral chakra. Your creative expression, your pursuit of pleasure, lovers, personal interests, versus are these real relationships or just hit and runs? Is there depth here? You are going to be working through for the next couple years how to heal that inner child and that creative expression, but that's also the lovers area of where you create relationships by having those same personal interests. But you're definitely viewing right now the rules of these relationships and are they healthy? Are they fair? Are they just? Or is it just hit and run? Reputation, prestige, and let me gloat is what I'm getting. Gloating about it in some form and boasting. So this is really coming into a higher depth, a higher perceiving energy, how you perceive the world, the relationships, and what you really want from them, and really maturing in this area at this time is really what I'm getting. All right, with that being said, I am going to try to speed up the astrology because I'm going to put it to you this way. If there are no planets in the house, we're going to skip the house. And the reason I say that is because if there's nothing there to influence it, you're pretty much just in your regular energy. But if there's something there to influence it, then we're going to talk about what that has to do and what that can mean for you. Mars already moved into Sagittarius on the 3rd. You have the full moon moving in, not the full moon moving in. You have the full moon and the lunar eclipse taking place in Cancer on the 10th. That's your 8th house. That's the rules of those relationships. Now you have, on the same day as that lunar eclipse, you have Uranus, which is going direct in Taurus. Now you have Venus moving into Pisces on the 13th, Mercury moving into Aquarius on the 16th, the Sun moving into Aquarius on the 20th. You'll have the new moon on the 24th in Capricorn, which is your 2nd house. And this is where you will recap the month, going all the way back to where the eclipses started on the day after Christmas. And did you learn whatever these eclipses were trying to teach you or re-steer you into a new direction? Were you taught is what? Were you actually taught what they were trying to teach you is what Spirit just said? And that has something to do with your creative expression, your inner child, love life, your fun, enjoyment. What makes you tick and enjoy being happy in life, more or less. And is that going in the right direction for you? And again, for some of you, I'm being told you'll be traveling, or traveling may be coming up, for whatever that is. All right, let's get into the astrology itself. All right, Sag, for your very first house, you have Mars here, moved in on the 3rd. You also have Pallas here. Pallas is very close to moving out. She moves out actually on the 18th. So until then, Pallas is Athena, the warrior goddess. She's helping you strategically think through this, helping you strengthen your core, your awareness, your personality, your appearance, your physical body, your view, your identification, your image. You're illuminating how you illuminate yourself to the world, as well as that egotistical energy. Because that is where your first house is as a Sagittarius. But you have Mars here, which is definitely giving it passion, action, and aggression. So this is asking you to take power, take action, and actually stand in your power. Stand in your awareness, your personality, your appearance. Illuminate who you are, believe in it, and strengthen your very core. Sexually, your inner sexuality, sacral chakra, because I get that with Mars. This is your inner warrior, your inner passion, action, aggression, mixed with your very appearance. This is giving you a sexuality, a seductive energy, but as well, a very passionate power energy. You're already a fire sign, but this is just strengthening it and giving it that masculine action energy, which is definitely a good thing, because your 2nd house, and we're in your 2nd house until the 20th, when the sun actually moves into Aquarius, making you in your 3rd house. So until the 20th, you are in your house of like I said, I'm tongue-tied. What you're wanting to speak, it just doesn't want to seem to come out quite right. You're in your house of self-worth, self-value, self-esteem. This is also your money house. This is where your self-value, self-worth, self-esteem stimulates and strengthens how you create your money and believe in yourself, and brings you that abundance. This is self-liberation. We're just going to leave it with liberty, considering I can't seem to talk. liberating yourself in another way. Hopefully I don't have to say that again, since my mouth can't seem to say that today. This is taking investments on yourself and your inner emotional security, as well as how you spend and gain your money because of that inner emotional security. Okay, this is where you're going to see this energy is going to come all the way back full circle to on the 24th, because this is Capricorn. You have the eclipse that took place on Christmas, the day after Christmas, in that second house, that self-worth, self-value, self-esteem, trying to help you put that investment of your own inner emotional securities first and strengthen your very core. Jupiter is here giving you that abundance and that good luck sign, because Jupiter always brings you abundance. It rules you. But you also have Pluto here asking you, well, how can I give you the abundance if you can't figure out who your true spirit is? I mean, deep down in the darkness of your soul, and bring all of that up and out so that we can release all the crap that doesn't serve you. Bringing you back to your inner emotional security, self-worth, self-value, self-esteem, and helping you truly to stand strong and powerful in your power. You have Saturn here asking you to reset those rules, walls, and boundaries so that the outer world is supporting you, not working against you. You have Ceres here, which is the karmic threefold. She is also speaking to you about where you have nurtured yourself or neglected yourself within these relationships, where you've put others first or you've neglected the relationship in one form or another. This is either you're putting too much focus on the relationship and not enough on yourself, or you're only putting relationship on yourself and then the relationships are fake because you're only caring about yourself. So there's got to be a balance here. And the reason I say that is Ceres speaks to you about karma and the threefold. So she's speaking to you about what you put out, you get back. But she's also speaking to you about taking responsibility for your part in the very healing of that. And without taking responsibility for your part, then you can't claim that self-worth, self-value, self-esteem, that inner emotional security. And you can't shape-shift and invest into yourself because you haven't taken proper credit for your part. That is the biggest part here for you to understand. Now, like I said, you're going to see this come full circle as you get to the 24th when we have the new moon. Because the outer world on the 10th with this lunar eclipse is going to be in opposition. The rules of the relationships that you are part of are going to question you on if they are fair and just. These relationships, every relationship you're a part of has rules. And every rules within the relationship should be fair, balanced, and just. And if they're not joint efforts, joint finances, joint resources, then that means there's new rules, walls, and boundaries that need to be shifted. And this is speaking to you right now because that 8th house is where that lunar eclipse is taking place in Cancer, on top of the North Node, saying there's something here you need to learn about how to support these relationships properly. And if you don't learn it, then you're not going to have good, healthy relationships. So this has to do with them being fair and balanced. And this is why I said, in some form, are you too boastful? This is definitely about you wanting to find your liberating energy. But maybe you're too liberated, is what I'm trying to say. Self-worth, self-value, self-esteem. This is investing in your inner emotional security and strengthening that. Yes. And for some of you, you need that. But some of you may be too boastful and all you care about is you. Because like I said, Sagittarius are very much like air signs, can be very unattached. And if you're not putting the proper energy into relationships and making sure you're doing a balanced fair, then you're not going to have healthy relationships. And all you're going to have is yourself in the long run. And this has to do with what you're going to be seeing go full circle from the day after Christmas to the 10th, when it's in opposition of you and the relationships, and then come back around to you on the 24th. This is pretty much what this energy is trying to teach you right now, and how to communicate a healthy balance within the rules of these relationships. And if the relationships are ones that you actually want to continue to keep having. Now, as you come into your third house, this is Aquarius. And the only thing, you have Mercury moving into Aquarius and then the Sun moving into Aquarius as of the 16th and the 20th, making that communication. I like to call Aquarius the fireworks. You know, you go to watch the fireworks like on the 4th of July, and you look up in the sky and you know you're going to see this fascinating event, but you don't know what you're going to see. This is what I mean by Mercury and the Sun in Aquarius. It's being illuminated. Your very communication is being illuminated, and it could very much come out like word vomit. That doesn't mean it's going to be bad, but you could very much just be spitting it out so fast that you mean exactly what you say, but you may also just be like the fireworks. It could just be, you see what I'm saying? And I feel like this is what's coming out. You want to really pay attention to the details. You want to slow down and make sure that this communication is going to happen in proper ways. I'm not saying that you shouldn't be bold and take new chances and make the communication and try something new. Definitely you should, but I feel like you need to slow down so that your communication is properly understood, especially after the 16th through the end of the month. Now, when we come into your fourth house, this is Pisces, and this is where Venus moves in on the 13th, bringing it closer to Neptune. This is your inner emotional security. This is the home. The vessel itself is the home. I mean, obviously the home is the home, and you are dealing with the foundation of the home and everything that is part of the family. But it is also where your inner child's roots were, where your personal foundations were, whether they were positive or negative personal foundations, where you first grew, your inner child, where your roots came from. This is where the inner emotional security either was created or lost. Okay? And that brings it right back to here. The only way that you can ever lose that inner emotional security is if you misplaced it. You didn't know that you could have it, and you gave those pieces of security away. This is about getting really right with the depths of who and what you are. Neptune is allowing you to recreate magic, to believe in yourself and breathe new life into that inner emotional security, as well as that self-worth, self-esteem, and self-value. But it's also asking you, what were the roots? And let's really take a look at them, because Venus is come in here and is helping you to either very much communicate in positive, charming ways through the family so that you can understand yourself better on a deeper point of view, or it's going to definitely be bringing up where parts of that inner emotional security was lost. Because Venus is sensitivity, and she's going to be speaking to you about where it's ooey gooey, soft and chewy, and I love this, and yes, more please, or yo, I really don't like this, and get the fuck right off of me. And this is going to be speaking to that inner emotional security for the roots of who and what you are, the true self, and why you are the way you are. and what the karmic lessons are here, and how to bring reincarnation for true soulful inner emotional security outside of the third dimensional realm, so that you can truly trust in yourself and trust in where you are within your relationships and everything in your life. Venus is either going to be speaking to Neptune about recreating the same old cycle, or really truly getting to the hard work of it and getting to the roots of who and what you are. Because at the end of Pisces, you have Lilith. And Lilith is asking you, where have you burned for you and only for you? And has that worked for you or not? More or less. She's also very close to your 5th house, which is Aries. And that is your pursuit of pleasure. She's incredibly close to Chiron in Aries. Chiron is the wounded healer. And this is where lovers first meet. This is where relationships first begin. This is where the creativity of those personal interests that bring people together are. This is where your creative expression comes out. You find enjoyment, and you bring that pursuit of pleasure into enjoying life. And are you having the correct people here to help you find that joy? And Chiron is saying something about this hasn't quite been expressed properly. Something about this needs healing so that you can begin these relationships in healthy new ways. But Lilith is going, well, where are you still only burning for you? And again, how is that working out for you? That's where you got that ego coming in and asking you if it's only been ego, or are you burning for yourself, but you still are willing to let others burn for themselves? You see what I'm saying? This is where the personal interests actually commit and start becoming friends and keep, that enjoyment, that creative expression, that inner child, that play going. This is part of what you're going to be experiencing the whole time Chiron is going to be in this 5th house, and it's going to be here for a long ass time, redirecting how you set these new personal interests and create these relationships from the beginning. Now, as you come into the 6th house, this is Taurus. This is where Uranus is about to go direct. And this is why I'm saying Uranus is about to go direct. You also have you also have Vista here in Taurus. For you, that's your soul fire talking to your independence, individuality, uniqueness, and freedom. Your inventive nature. How you invent yourself, create that energy, express it, and bring it back home to the truth of who and what you are. But this is the 6th house. And the 6th house is your everyday daily tasks. From your daily routines to your health, your hygiene, your diet, your working environment, your careers. This is what I call your everyday, daily, mundane tasks. And the things you get up and do every day are so much more important than you realize. The energies that take part in those everyday, daily routines. I mean, we get up, we take a shower, we get dressed. Some of us go running. I don't know. Some of you go running. Some of you go to the gym. Some of you go to work. Some of you go to the bar. Every day we have different routines. And our routines influence our life as well as the people in our life. Because everyday, daily routines are people, places, and things of energy that we consume. And in these people, places, and energies that we consume, are they healthy? Are they good for us? All right, you have Uranus here, which is asking you to break away and really not necessarily speak your mind, but in a form. This is asking you to create routines that really, truly help you support your freedom, help you support your independence, your individuality, your uniqueness, your creative energy, your inventive energy. And are the people, places, and things of these daily routines helping you create that freedom? Are they helping you create that freedom and your inner soul fire to bring you all the way back to your inner emotional security, your self-worth, self-value, self-esteem, and core? Because if these routines are not healthy, the people, places, and things in these routines, then it's time to change them. And it's time to realize that this is when that independence needs to speak up. Now, with that being said, then we jump over to your 8th house. We've already spoken about this. This is where the lunar eclipse is going to take place in the relationships. And what are the rules of these relationships? I mean, everything you care about, you have a relationship with. You have a relationship with your children. You have a relationship with your parents. You have a relationship with your working environment. You have a relationship with your work. I mean, you go to work to get paid. I mean, in spousal relationships, there are 2 main rules that come in the relationship of the marriage, so to speak. Paying the bills and sex typically are the 2 most important things that happen in the relationship's rules. Even though honesty, and you see what I'm saying? There's so many things that go into the rules of relationships. Honesty, apparently that just needed to come out because there really didn't have any place to go with that. But the 8th house is about how we transform the relationship into healthy relationships. How do we constantly rebirth them? How do we go from birth, death to rebirth and reincarnate the relationships so they last? Okay? And this is by setting healthy rules, walls, boundaries. And finding joint efforts, joint resources, joint finances, and being fair, balanced, and just. And are these relationships, are the rules of these relationships fair, balanced, and just? This is what you're going to be acknowledging on that full moon. Remember, you have the North Node here, which is saying there's something in this relationship or these relationships of your life that you need to learn in order to have healthy relationships as you move forward. So it cannot only be about what you want, but it should not be taking from your self-worth, self-value, or self-esteem either. But you should not be more important than the other people in the relationship. You should be balanced. Then we also have, in the 11th house, you have Libra. This is your community, your larger groups, your goals, your dreams, your ambitions. And are your friends, your community, and larger groups supporting those goals, dreams, and ambitions? Because you have Ura here and you have Haumea here. This is the very collective consciousness is wrapping around these goals, ambitions, and dreams, and asking you if you have the right people in these relationships, in these communities, in these larger groups. Do you have the right friends that are actually supporting you, figuring out how to create these goals and bring them into fruition, these dreams and bring them into fruition? They should be supporting you. They should not be working against you. They should be working, not for you, but supporting you. And if they're not healthy and going in that proper way, then you're not going to find these dreams come into fruition. And Ura is sitting here with Haumea, and that's the collective consciousness as well as commitment. So this is asking you, where are you committed to your goals, your dreams? And what are you going to do about that? And are you finding that you have the right people here? Are you going to do anything about it? Are you going to make sure that you are really focusing on what you desire, what you try to inspire to be and take your life? And are the people in your life helpful, supportive, and going to help you get there? Or are you surrounded by the wrong people? And Spirit said, in some cases, are you surrounded by the wrong people because of the reputation you want to have? I'm just giving you what they give me. Now, with that being said, This all comes to truthful self-realization of where you're trying to steer your life and what it is you want to do with that knowledge. Because you don't have anything in the 12th house. So this is saying you're being given the knowledge. The question is, what will you do with it? I love you guys. Bye.